Let's hit the phone lines. What's his name? My screen's not up, and he wants to talk to me. Eric in Illinois. What's up, Eric? You're on the Will Cain Show. Eric's
gone. He was scared.
What? He's going to tell me I'm right about the Eagles. I'm right about the Civil War headed to Philadelphia. I'm right about the Nick Foles, the Folestans versus the Wencestans. I wanted to share something with you. See, Eric was going to set it all up. It was perfect, and then he ran scared, just like the ostriches do. Can I just revisit one thing with you? Now, you can tell me if this makes you mad, but whatever. Facts don't care about your feelings. So I'm going to share this with you, Cerruti, and those of you listening, okay? I'm going to suggest this belongs in the bucket of things Will Cain says that people get mad at and yell at, and then later go, that guy was onto something. Besides the D-baggy way he just used himself in the third person, he might have been onto something. Never forgive me for calling myself by my own name. This is some comps, okay? I've got 3 quarterbacks to give you, okay? I promise I won't give you game-winning drives.
Yeah, your favorite stat. The only one that apparently matters to you.
Okay, listen, I'm serious. One loss record. These 3 quarterbacks have all been in the league at the same amount of time. 1 loss. This guy, 22 wins, 13 interceptions. The next guy, 23 wins, 17. I'm not interceptions, losses. 23 wins, 17 losses. And the third guy, 30 wins to 15 losses. Okay? One's clearly above the other 2. Completion percentage. The guy that had the most wins is completing 66% of his passes. The other, 63. And the other, 61. I need to start giving you names or it's going to get confusing, right?
I'm already confused.
Okay, the point is, I'm giving you 3 quarterbacks here.
One of them's Dak. It's probably the good one.
Dak.
Shocker.
Dak, his 1-loss record, his completion percentage, his interceptions, lowest, his yards per attempt are second, his quarterback rating is first. He's first in quarterback rating, 1 loss, completion percentage.
But to be clear, out of those 3 guys.
Yes, out of these 3 guys.
Okay.
Correct. The other 2 guys are Carson Wentz and Jared Goff. All these statistical categories. And people want to scoff at this idea that I say this is a closer debate than people want to recognize. Carson Wentz versus Dak Prescott. So I'm serious. I'm not messing with you, man. I'm not trying to pick a fight. I'm not trying to be, little twinkle in my eye. Let's see if I can rile him up here. Let's see if I can get Cerruti all.
I know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
You're trying to convince yourself that Dak's a good quarterback.
What do you do with facts like this?
Let me ask you a question.
See these facts?
Simplify
this is from my friend John Jock Taylor at the Dallas Morning News. He's even got it on graph paper.
Yeah, he's great.
Can you see the graph paper?
I can't. I can see.
It's graph paper he wrote it on.
That's great.
Which gives it an extra level of credibility.
It means it's super nerdy and definitely official.
Yeah. It's, you know what I'm talking about, box graph. Who uses that? Architects and mathematicians. So this is the kind of...
It's very scientific.
Paper it's written on. Yeah, that's the level of science this is carrying. I just don't know what you do with that.
Some would say scholarly.
Yeah. Passer rating, 95.8 Dak, 94.1 Goff, 92.5 Wentz. I mean, I don't know what you do with this stuff in the end. What do? You just going to scoff at me again? I don't understand how you debate this, Cerruti. I don't understand what you do to dismiss me on this.
I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
Those 3 guys, in order of starting a franchise with, which order would you rank them in? Which quarterback would you want over all of them?
1 games with 100+ passer rating, okay? 22 for Dak, 16 for Wentz, 15 for Goff. Games with 100+ passer rating. This is crazy, man.
Here's what this proves.
This is crazy. Hold on, I got one other one. I'm setting the graph paper down. Look at my hands. Look, see? Nothing in my hands. No graph paper. In all seriousness, report is that Carson Wentz has a fractured vertebrae. At some point, don't you have to think availability is part of the calculus? Carson Wentz's injury history in the NFL is starting to add up, is it not? That has to be something that isn't used to bolster the argument for Wentz, but actually hurts the argument for Wentz. Does it not? You're making your eye roll thing. You're doing it like Will. You're doing that thing again. But I'm really honestly just giving you facts. I haven't even given you a conclusion. And these facts, they don't care about your feelings.
I just feel like this is you trying to convince yourself that Dak is a good quarterback. And you keep doing this. You keep throwing all these stats at me that say, hey, look at this, look at this, look at this. But you, deep down inside, don't even know the truth about Dak. You don't know.
The position that I've held and where I am today is this debate between Carson Wentz and Dak Prescott, first of all, is a debate, and second, is closer than anybody wants to recognize.
He's not wrong.
I'm not wrong. Tell him, Bubba.
He's not wrong.
And this has gone from 2 years ago, it was clearly Dak, to last year, it was clearly Wentz, to this year, people laughed and mocked at the idea that it was a debate at all. And you know what? I'm getting the last laugh here. Again.
Well, but I would argue that Wentz and Goff, their highs have been higher than Dak's high. Dak, all right, so he's got a lot of wins, that's great. But Goff's playing at an MVP level this year, and Wentz played at an MVP level last year.
Yeah, he's got all those wins.
Where's the MVP,
wins are team stats,
MVP
so,
level?
Okay.
Like, I don't know, how do you quantify that? I just gave you win-losses, quarterback rating, games over 100-plus quarterback rating, lowest interceptions, highest completion percentage. I just gave you like a 2x4's whack across the head of stats, and you come back to me with MVP caliber. What are we doing here?
I mean, I'm right, though. Dak's first season was a good season.
This is a little bit like you want to invite UCF into the argument. It's like, hey, did you bestow MVP caliber on somebody? I don't care about the stats, the wins, losses. This
isn't just me. This is everyone knew he was an MVP.
Because you're all a bunch of elitists.
You're right.
Probably racist too. Because I noticed.
Yep.
I noticed that
all of the above.
It's racist. That's what it's coming down to. The Will Cain Show is presented by Progressive Insurance. Remember, you can watch all 3 hours of the show on ESPN News. How many people listening will think I was serious about that?
Yeah, now I'm nervous.
Jerry in New Jersey. What's up, Jerry? You're on the Will Cain Show.
Hey, Will Cain. How you doing?
I'm good, man.
Will,
yes.
This is just making me sick to my stomach right now.
What is?
That you think the Cowboys are going to make it to the Super Bowl with Dak Prescott.
Jerry.
That team.
Jerry.
Can I finish? Please, Wayne. Can I finish?
I swear I'm going to let you finish. I just have a quick question.
Go ahead.
Are you doing that, or is that how you talk? Like that accent, that's wonderful. It's awesome. Are you doing that, or that's real?
Well, this is how I talk.
What is that? What kind of accent is that?
I'm from New Jersey. I'm Italian.
That's a Jersey accent?
Yes.
All right. Go on.
Okay, so let me finish.
I'm going to let you finish.
You make me sick saying these Cowboys are going to go to the Super Bowl. Do you realize what's in front of Dak Prescott? Because I don't think you realize.
What?
Okay, let's start with the Saints. And I'm not taking away from the game they played against them this year.
They just beat
Dallas defense
right, they beat
played amazing.
Right.
But if you think they're going to show up again in the dome against Breeze,
right,
you lost your mind.
Right. Why would I think they'd beat a team they already beat? Crazy of me.
Okay, I respect that. You think this team is going to go to the Rams Stadium and Dak Prescott is not going to be flustered by that Rams D-line?
There are going to be more Cowboys fans than Rams fans at that game.
I'm more worried about Jared Goff being flustered by Tank Lawrence and David Irving and Randy Gregory than the reverse, than Dak Prescott being worried about
Randy Gregory. What has Randy Gregory done this year? Okay, let me finish. You
Went
think
offsides.
Dak Prescott is going to beat that Bears defense? You have lost your mind, Will. You have lost your mind. You lost it. You completely lost it.
Hey, Jerry.
Yeah.
This is going to be one of those things where you're going to look back. You're not going to call me. You're not going to call me when I'm right. Nobody ever does. They love to yell at me. And then time goes by. I'm right again. And it's suspiciously quiet. You going to call back, Jerry, when I'm right?
I will call you back. And listen, this is coming, and I'm a big-time Steelers fan, okay?
Okay.
I realize that our season's in jeopardy, and I'm being realistic. I think we can possibly beat New England, but I don't think we can beat the Saints. The Steelers are in trouble. But I'm hearing nonsense that this guy, Dak Prescott, could lead that team to the Super Bowl. The defense is great.
I got you, Jerry. Okay.
But Dak is not a Super Bowl quarterback.
Right.
No way.
Okay.
No way.
All right. Make sure you call me back, okay? All right. He's a Jim. I don't know if that's better than the Philly guy yesterday with the Philly accent.
I don't know, this is pretty good.
Jerry in New Jersey was on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro Plus Premium Gasoline. I can see the phone line is lit up with other people. Oh, and Le Batard fans are mad at us. Well, what's that mean they're doing? Snitching? Has Joe Flacco made his last appearance as a Raven? And I'm going to tell you something all the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL have in common, and it's not flattering. Next on the Will Cain Show.
Geico presents eyewitness interviews with inanimate objects.
This is Belinda Collins, live on the scene of a recent hailstorm. Here to describe the event, a football.
Bro, I was just hanging on the roof when this gnarly storm starts dropping baseball-sized hail. I mean, the shingles got beat up. A few windows looked broken. It was savage.
Did you do anything to help?
Nah, bro. I was in survival mode.
Your football can't help you in a hailstorm, but the Geico Insurance Agency can help you get covered for personal property damage. Call Geico to see how affordable homeowners insurance can be.
Now it's official. The Baltimore Ravens are Lamar Jackson's team.
Every decision is based on what makes us the strongest possible team we can be.
This is about winning. I trust the coach. Lamar Jackson has given them life.
Looks like the guys around him are responding to him being in the game as well.
But also needs to be said that Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl there.
I've obviously had 5 weeks to think about it and prepare myself for this situation and the possibility of it.
I think he feels like he's not getting enough respect.
Joe Flacco, he knew draft night.
Man, short-term interest versus long-term interest can be a difficult thing to manage. What's good for you now? What's good for you over the long haul? The Baltimore Ravens have made the right decision for the short term. They are starting Lamar Jackson, and they should be. He's put that team in a position to make the playoffs. Hell, he may have put that team in position to win the AFC North. But is it the right decision over the long term? Is moving away from Joe Flacco, Super Bowl winning quarterback, for Lamar Jackson, the best chance for the Ravens to win in the long term? It's the Will Cain Show on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app. Short term versus long term, we keep seeing coming up again and again. It's been said the Dallas Cowboys on a winning streak. Fun in the short term. Bad in the long term means Jason Garrett stays around. There are other teams that people have pointed to might have to make difficult decisions. But these little streaks they've gone on, these little moments they've had, is it keeping them from making the right decision for the team? Is Baltimore winning now, committing them to a quarterback that can't win for them in the long term? It's at least say where we are right now. The Ravens gave the Chiefs everything they can handle. They've been on a winning streak with Lamar Jackson as well. But as Jeff Schwartz, friend of the show, has pointed out, the way they've won, the teams they've beat has come against some of the worst run defenses in the NFL. Lamar Jackson's ability to run the ball. And the rest of that team, running the ball. I think most of those guys, Dixon and others, Dixon and them boys, averaged well over 5 yards a carry against the Chiefs. But how many teams can you do that against? How long can you run like that and not pass the ball? How long can you work around a quarterback whose game is predicated upon moving the ball on the ground? Isn't it sooner or later going to be that teams figure you out? Didn't teams figure out Michael Vick? Didn't teams figure out other quarterbacks? Is Josh Allen not going to be figured out in Buffalo if he can't learn to pass the ball? And would Lamar Jackson not be figured out in the long term if he can't begin to throw the ball more accurately? But short term, look what the Ravens have ahead of them. The Ravens have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, one of the worst run defenses in the NFL. They have these Chargers with a big game tonight. And then they have the Cleveland Browns, who also have one of the lowest ranked run defenses in the NFL. I think it's entirely realistic for the Ravens to go 2-1 through that stretch and end their season 9-7. And 9-7 might not just get you a wild card spot, the sixth and final wild card spot in the AFC. 9-7 might win you the the AFC North. Because Pittsburgh sitting today at 7-5-1, look at the schedule they have ahead of themselves. They have the Patriots, Saints, and Bengals. Do you trust the Pittsburgh Steelers to come out of that stretch better than 1-2? Because 1-2 puts them at 8-7-1. That puts the Ravens in first place and the Steelers in second. That puts the Ravens in the playoffs with a tough defense, a tough matchup for anybody. A quarterback that's won for them in the short term, but a quarterback that will get figured out. He will get figured out if he doesn't figure it out, if he doesn't start passing accurately. Short-term interest versus long-term interest. I think the Ravens are putting themselves in a position where they could be selling out long-term interest for short-term game. All predicated on, does Lamar Jackson become a better passer? Hayden in Maryland. What's up, Hayden? You're on the Will Cain Show.
Hey, Will, I agree with you about Lamar Jackson, being the best option right now. Everyone knows, Flacco went 4-5. In those 9 games. Jackson's 3-1 now. He's also averaging about 3 or 4 more points a game, 10 more yards a game. He also, first couple of games didn't have his best passing, but first game he had, I think it was 2 interceptions against the Bengals. He had 1 against the Raiders. Or no. It was 2 more against the Raiders. Didn't throw any against the Falcons, and he had his best passing game last week against the Chiefs. Went 13-24, 147 yards and 2 touchdowns.
All right, but don't say that. Let's be real, Hayden. Okay, let's be real. Yeah, we're not going to say that like that's impressive, right?
No. But he's getting consistently better. Everyone knows what he can do in the run game.
But aren't you worried that in the long term, this whole tension I'm talking about, it's clearly the short term right answer. But aren't you worried in the long term? You might be tying yourself to a quarterback that never figures out how to throw the ball accurately and ostracizing a quarterback that won the Super Bowl for, I assume, Hayden in Maryland is a Baltimore Ravens fan. For you.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so aren't you worried about that?
Not really. I think I have, he won a Heisman for a reason. He was able to rush and pass there. It's just going to take more time for him to get used to the NFL defenses, and I think he's done a good job of that in his first four games, and he's just going to keep on getting better from now on. I
got you, Hayden. Thanks for the call. I'll tell you this. Lamar Jackson can still become an accurate passer. Perhaps that's the answer to this. And the best argument for anybody that thinks this is the right move for the Ravens is this. You know what Joe Flacco is. He showed you. You know the ceiling. You know what he is. You might as well roll the dice on somebody with a higher ceiling. You might as well roll the dice on Lamar Jackson. If it doesn't work, you know what you do? What every team's supposed to do. Keep drafting. Keep throwing those dice onto the table. Draft another one under Lamar Jackson until you hit on the right one. It may be Lamar, and you may have a trade asset underneath him. Cerruti, before we head off to break, you complained about fans of the Le Batard show snitching.
No. I didn't complain. It was an observation.
You diagnosed. Okay, observation.
Yeah.
They snitch.
And I've been proven true, like time over time. Bundy, hey at Le Batard show, that asshat jerk behind the glass on Will Cain show, just called your fans snitches because they're afraid of the mafia. Added Le Batard show, Mike Ryan, and Stu Gotts. Like, do I have to explain the irony to Bundy? Then we got another guy, Josh.
Will
Cain
allowed
show.
To say these words? You just Okay.
Yeah. There's one A word we can't use. I didn't use that one.
It's not asshat?
No, it's another one.
I guess
another
we'll
another
find
AH.
out soon. I don't know.
Yeah, hey, maybe I won't be here tomorrow. And then Josh, Will Cain show, talking smack on Le Batard's show right now, calling us snitches. They right. Thanks, Josh. I'm not criticizing, just an observation.
And then they went and snitched on you?
Yep. Predictable.
All the guests on the Will Cain show appear via the show.